All right, what's good, y'all? It's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers, all of the grandmothers, the godmamas, the big mamas, the step mamas, any and everybody, the hoochie mamas. You feel me? Y'all deserve a shout out too. Lord knows y'all were a very formative component of my adolescence. Yeah, that video is coming soon, by the way. But anyway, I wanted to rap with y'all real quick. I don't know how many of y'all are actually gonna watch this video. I might play around with the thumbnail a little bit just to get y'all to look at it. So one of my guilty pleasures. Hold on, let me adjust this real quick. One of my guilty pleasure shows over the past few years has been the Netflix uh, original You, and you know, reason why it's several different reasons why I call it a guilty pleasure, man. But one of them is that the writing is not great, and in the sense that, so for example, without getting into too many spoilers, so I just got done watching the final season last night, right? And for the most part, it kind of unfolded exactly the way that I predicted. Like, so again, for those of y'all who don't watch the show, which I don't know why you watching this if you don't watch the show, but for those of y'all who don't, in every season, basically, oh boy, the main character Joe, he gets a new love interest, right? Whether they want to be or not, and we're gonna get to that in a second. But he gets a new love interest, and as soon as the girl for this season was introduced, I clocked off. I sat there and I told my wife, this is what's going to happen. Is that this is the role she's going to play in this season, and lo and behold, you feel me? That was exactly the role all the way to the end. You feel me? They threw a couple of curveballs in there, but ultimately it wound up turning out exactly the way that I predicted. But anyway, I digress. I wanted to get into this because one of the things that this season did, and I know that Penn Badgley, he not only plays the main character, but he's an executive producer on the show. And I remember a few years ago, he was kind of getting frustrated because his character was having the whole Jeffrey Dahmer effect, and his whole thing was like, nah, y'all not supposed to like this nigga. Y'all, he is a bad dude. He is a bad guy. You understand what I'm saying? He is a master manipulator. He is a master gaslight. He's deluded. You feel what I'm saying? He is, the height of gaslighters. You feel me? And I think that this season more than any, I feel like there was a bit of a Joker 2 effect to this. You understand what I'm saying? To make it abundantly clear, but it pulled it off a lot better than Joker 2 did. To make the point that, you feel me, no, this is not the guy that, let me tell you exactly, make it in no unequivocal terms exactly who and what this nigga really is. And so it gets down into this, and this is why I really wanted to rap with y'all a little bit today, especially the young bulls in the audience. I kind of talked about this. No, I matter of fact, I did. I talked explicitly about this in the Trap Lord Ross video on the main channel, when I talked about, when people think of racist. You understand what I'm saying? It's reductive the way that we talk about racism and talk about racist, because folk have this idea in their mind that, oh well, so long as I don't have an AB tattoo on my neck, you feel me, a 4-leaf clover on my neck, you feel me, so long as I'm not on Reddit boards making Shaniqua jokes, you feel me, and dropping hard R's, and we was Kangs and all of that other hive mind BS, you know what I'm saying? So long as I don't read Stone Toss comics, then you feel me, I'm not racist. You dig what I'm saying? So long as I am not that, then, I'm good. You feel what I'm saying? Same thing applies with, homophobia. And I said this before. I'll be the first to raise my hand and say that I was of that mindset that, you feel me, so long as I don't hate gay people, because I told y'all this before, I've always had this attitude, like, I really couldn't care less who or what you choose to stick your dick in. That ain't my business. I don't understand people who are that obsessed with other people's sex lives or whatever the case may be, but that don't make you no ally. You feel me? It makes you, matter of fact, I think somebody had said this they said, that don't make you an ally, it makes you a spectator. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not saying, jumping down people's throat for not being an ally, whatever the case may be. But I am just saying that, and like I said before, it's not about hate. It's about respect. Do you respect black people? Do you respect, you feel me, the identity of your black friends? You feel me? Do you humanize them the same way that you humanize folk that look like you? You feel me? Do you humanize women the same way that you humanize men? You dig what I'm saying? Do you humanize queer folk the same way that you humanize straight folk whose identity you can identify with? And that's what I wanted to get into with this today, because I don't remember. I guess I am getting a little bit in the spoiler territory. So there's a character who is only in it for like a episode or two, like the last the penultimate and the last episode. A character who I feel like part of his purpose was to serve as, this is what y'all think a misogynist looks like. You feel me? And only this. You dig what I'm saying? But I'm finna show you that there's more than one way to skin a cat. You dig what I'm saying? And so that's what gets me into Joe. And Joe, has this in this season made it abundantly clear as that he has that white knight syndrome. You get what I'm saying? And for those of y'all who don't know what a white knight is, because incels, and woman haters and all of them and whatever and whatnot, they've kind of polluted the term. But a white knight is really somebody. So think of it like this. So I know y'all know what a Messiah complex is, right? Messiah complex is somebody who feels like it is their job and their job only, you feel me, to save the world from all things, bad and whatever and whatnot. You dig what I'm saying? Basically, they on an ego trip. You dig what I'm saying? But it's okay because it's for a good cause. It's for a good reason. You dig what I'm saying? So if you think about a Messiah complex and then scale it down to a micro level. So instead of, saving the world, it's my job and my job alone to save this one person. You dig what I'm saying? And that's what Joe got a lot going on. And again, I'm not going to get into, a lot of his background, a lot of his, whatever. I'm not going to lie. I kind of rolled my eyes a little bit because at one point I felt like that's where they were going, was, trying to explain away his actions. You feel me? Using his trauma. You dig what I'm saying? But fortunately, they didn't do that. But anyway, so I say that to say this is that you got a lot of young cats, right? Let me tell y'all something. Don't no woman want to be infantilized. You feel me? Don't no woman want to be coddled. Don't no woman want to be treated like a child. You dig what I'm saying? And so you got two kinds of interpretations of that mentality. You got, on one hand, you got what I just talked about, the white knight, and then you got, nice guy TM. And the key difference between the white knight and the nice guy is that the nice guy is not genuine. The nice guy is just going to tell you what you want to hear, what they think you want to hear, in order to get in your draws.
Ugh, what boyfriend? I'm not seeing anyone right now. Guys are jerks.
God, I know, right? Guys are the worst.
You feel me? In order to get in your pants. You dig what I'm saying? They just gonna, roll over for you at any opportunity because again, infantilizing. They ain't ever really had no interactions with a woman like that. So that's what they think that a woman wants, and that's how they think they're going to, get that kind of attention, and then they get mad when they don't. You understand what I'm saying? The white knight, on the other hand, is similar to the nice guy, but the white knight is genuine. You dig what I'm saying? And the white knight is not necessarily going to infantilize you in a way that insults your intelligence. You feel me? Just telling you anything and everything that you want to hear. But the white knight is going to infantilize you in the idea, in the sense that, make themselves the main character of your story. You understand what I'm saying? That, it's my job to save you from all of the bad things. You understand what I'm saying? It's my job not only to protect you from other people, but to protect you from yourself. You understand what I'm saying? And there's this running theme in the show where you see where Joe, he has this tendency, you feel me, to fall for these, for lack of better phrasing, reclamation projects, fall for these girls, at a point in their life where, for lack of better phrasing, they're broken. You understand? But one reason or another, their life is a mess. And so here come old Prince Charming Joe, taking it upon himself, you dig what I'm saying, to insert himself in their affairs because they just don't have the capacity. You understand what I'm saying? They just don't have the ability to work out their own BS. You understand what I'm saying? And so the question becomes, where does that come from? Where does that idea come from? That, I got to save you. You feel me? Where does that idea come from that, you can't do it by yourself. You need somebody, even after I tell you multiple times. And this point is really driven home, you feel me, in this final season, that, even after I tell you multiple times that I don't want you because I don't like the way that you approach things, you still take it upon yourself to say, oh, well, she'll thank me later. You understand what I'm saying? As if to say that you know better than me how to handle my own situation. So where does that come from, folks? It comes from misogyny. That's what it is. And you may not interpret, and that's what I wanted to get at with y'all today, is you may not interpret it that way because you feel like you're doing this person a mitzvah. You understand what I'm saying? But one thing that, especially the something that I'm continuing to learn as a parent, is that you got to allow folk, you got to give freedom to folk, you got to give folk the freedom to F up. You understand what I'm saying? It's something that I have difficulty with my kids. You dig what I'm saying? But I know that if I'm constantly there, if I'm always there, oh, well, so I'll tell y'all this. When y'all have kids, there comes a point where, that in the long run, it's better for them to know it's better for them to get themselves dressed. You feel me? No matter how long they take to do it, you feel me? No matter how many times you got to send them back in the room because, they came out with, their shoes on the wrong foot or they pants on backwards where, their back pockets is sitting in the front. You understand what I'm saying? And you go through this thing where it's like, it'd be a lot quicker, you feel me, if I just did it myself. But at the same time, you ain't never going to, if I keep doing this, you ain't never going to learn how to do it yourself. You understand what I'm saying? If you're going to grow up to be, a functioning adult, I got to allow you the freedom to F up and to figure it out on your own. You dig what I'm saying? So if you do that for a child, imagine somebody who won't do that for the grown folk in their life. You understand what I'm saying? Imagine, you understand what I'm saying? What it is that this person is less a person than they are a pet to you. You understand what I'm saying? They become an extension. And I think this is even said at some point during the season, is that, they become an extension of your own desire. You feel me? Your own need to be wanted, your own need to feel like you are needed, to feel like, you have a purpose. You dig what I'm saying? And that's what this person becomes, is they effectively just become a tool to fulfill that end. You dig what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell y'all like this. Uh that's how a lot that's how a lot of, and it becomes evident toward the end that uh Joe is an abuser, even if not physically. You dig what I'm saying? That he's a manipulator, he's a gaslighter. You feel me? He's going to say whatever he got to say, to the point of literally at one point vocalizing how he really thinks. Twice he does. As at one point he says, I spent my whole life. I know this is spoilers now, but at one point he says, I spent my whole life, you feel me, saving girls like you. You understand what I'm saying? But for what? To what end? Why? Why did you feel like it was your job and your job only to do that? You understand what I'm saying? And then at another point, just to drive the point home even further, he says to another girl, he says, I'm paraphrasing here, but he says something to the effect of you weren't special until me. You dig? And so it's at that point that we really see who and what this nigga really is. You understand what I'm saying? And for what he is that in his mind, you are the pivot. In his mind, he is the pivot. He is the canon event of your life. That there is before Joe and there is after Joe. You understand what I'm saying? And life is always better after Joe comes in. You understand what I'm saying? So I say that to say to y'all today, especially to the young cats and to the young girls. You feel me? To the young cats, don't fall into that trap of feeling like, you got to save somebody. You understand what I'm saying? Don't fall into that trap of feeling like, it's your job and your job only, you feel me, to make somebody see the light. You dig what I'm saying? Because really it's going to wind up having the opposite effect. And on the flip side, to the young ladies in the audience, don't fall for that, because these niggas come, looking like Prince Charming. You understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, they don't trust you enough to be an adult. You dig? And you don't want to be by somebody who's not willing to give you autonomy, somebody who's not willing to give you the freedom to fail. That's not the type of nigga you want to mess around, because I promise you, you understand what I'm saying, is that he's gonna put chains. He's gonna put, locks on your mind. You feel me? And there's a conversation being had by two of the girls at one point, where, she's talking about, you sitting there and you ignoring the voice in the back of your mind because you saying, I'm better than the type of girls to fall for this. You feel me? I'm smarter. I'm not one of those kinds of girls. I'm smarter than this. I'm smarter than them. You understand what I'm saying? And the reality is that, and it's another powerful phrase that I feel like this season had a lot more female input than previous seasons, to be honest, because it's another point where the girl says that girls create in their head. The girls fall for, or this is what it is. Girls fall for guys like you because there are so many guys like you. In other words, girls fall for the white knight because there are so many uh, woman hating misogynists out there. You dig what I'm saying? Because there are so many, you feel me, the trouble to deal with women types, they wind up falling for the guy. They wind up falling for the too good to be true. So yeah, y'all just that's all I wanted to rap with y'all today about. Deuces.